Basically, this is just a small conversation, it seems, between a father and a daughter. Wherein one fine day, that father who's there, he tells his daughter that there is some conference also. You please come along with me. Basically, it was a conference that is related to science. A lot of experiments, this and that. So, a scientific conference, it seems. And the father, he tells his daughter that it's a science conference. You please come along with me. And he was telling her this while he was lighting a lamp, it seems, during the puja time. Like we light a lamp every day. And that's when the daughter says that this is what I'm saying, all these science conferences, everything is so boring, I don't know why you're taking me there. And that's when uh, the father says, no, this one will not be boring at all. And there was a Shiva idol, a statue of Shiva, it seems, nearby, and she was also just looking at that, saying that I don't know, I don't understand anything, I don't want to go, and so on. And that's when the daughter, she tells her father that I don't know why you want to take me to all the science conferences and so on. And that daughter, she asks her father one small question, saying that now that person was it, that father, he was a scientist, right? So she tells her father that you are like a therapist also, you are a scientific person, you have studied the human mind also, and every morning still, in spite of studying science and whatnot, you do so many experiments, still every day you're sitting down for puja. So I don't know how things matter. Like when we talk about puja also, the idol that you are worshipping in front of you has got no meaning at all, right? So as per science, because it is something we cannot, because science is something as I see, so I believe, that's what is told. So why you are doing puja? Is there any similarity between the Shiva that you are worshipping and science? So if I give you an option out of these two, what will you prefer? This is what the daughter very smartly she asks her father. And when she asked this question, that's when that father, he thinks for some time and then gives her answer and tells her that now this person who was there with the scientist, he was also a doctor, it seems, a very very learned person. And he answers his daughter saying that there was a patient whom I treated a few years back, it seems. Her name was Tulsi, a small girl. And when you have asked me this question to choose between science or Lord Shiva, at that time the story comes to my mind. And that's when the daughter asks, who is she, what happened to her, and so on. That's when that patient who came in, the father says that she actually had some psychological problem. She had been actually sent to be my another doctor also. And like she had already visited various other doctors, lot of therapists, psychologists, this that, but none of them actually could make any treatment on her. And she had gone through a trauma, it seems, a shocking situation. She had lost her father, that girl, and that's the reason she was brought for therapy. So basically like a shock condition also. And the strange part that was there is that girl, the patient who was there, she was not reacting, it seems. Now, when you lose a near one, also obviously you are going to cry or there are going to be some sad emotions, right? But this girl was not reacting at all, nor she was laughing, nor she was crying, she was not reacting to anything. So, basically, a shock situation that is there. And then the daughter, she finally asked, so what did you do with her? How did you treat her? And so on. And that father says with her mother, she came to my clinic for the first time. Very nicely, I introduced myself, I asked her a few questions, everything. The girl did not respond at all. And some or the other way, now of course he is a doctor, right? His way is to speak to the patient some or the other way, but that girl, Tulsi, did not respond at all. Second session was also the same. Every day that patient used to come in, this doctor, the father used to ask a lot of questions, this and that, but she did not respond. Further later, small girl, so the doctor started asking questions, what do you do in school, what are your hobbies, this, that, everything. Nothing. The girl did not respond at all. And at that time, the daughter, she tells her, this is so frustrating, right? You're asking a person for so many days, you tell something, still that patient is not opening his mouth. The doctor, the father says, this is a part of life, that's how it is. That the patient is not doing it purposely, right? Especially if there is some mental illness or so, there is some reason behind it. Many days passed, the same thing happened. Every approach that I knew I tried on her, the father says. And we are all therapists, right? So we are all taught how to handle such situations. Maybe she was passing through a very great trauma, but still, every night I used to study what else can I do with this patient that she will open her mouth, but nothing happened. That's when one fine day an idea came to me that maybe I'm doing this inside my clinic. I'll change the environment. I'll go outside also. Maybe environment at times it changes, right? That's the reason we also say we will take a break. So that's how maybe let me try one day. And when Tulsi she came for the next session, I told her that you please, there is a small garden outside. Let us go there. And she also came. That patient was there. She did not respond with a yes, no, nothing. The doctor took her along. She also followed. Now, while they were going from the clinic to that garden which was there nearby, there was a small Shiva temple, it seems. Very, very small shrine, nothing big also, by a roadside. And something interesting happened, it seems, while both of them were passing about. That girl, for the first time, that patient, when she saw the temple, she stopped outside. She didn't speak. She just stood there looking at the temple about for 10-15 seconds or so. And then she started walking again. That's when this daughter asks, why, this is something weird, right? Why did she even stop there? The doctor said that no, I didn't know the reason actually. She just stopped there, that's it. It was very weird. But the next day again, she did not speak anything. But the next day again, I took her in the same way, the same road, same temple, everything, the same way like she did the previous day. She paused here also for some time. That's when, now by this the doctor could not make out anything, but for a few days she was doing the same thing. That's when the doctor said that I maybe got a hint that there is something here, because many times what happens is there can be something hidden. Just because she is not speaking doesn't mean anything. And one fine day what happens is, the doors of the temple one day, like she used to pause every day, the doors of the temple were closed, it seems. And this girl, one fine day, she did not move at all. After a few seconds every day, she used to move, right? She did not move that day. That's when the doctor tells her, come, let's go. But then she did not move herself. That's when at that time what happens is, suddenly a small boy, the girl is standing in front of the temple, the doors of the temple are closed. A small boy comes running from somewhere with a small cloth bag or so in his hand. And he just ran from us, beside us. He just goes inside the temple, opens the doors, and he just disappears inside, it seems. Now this entire thing that happened, it happened so quickly that nobody got time, nor the doctor, nor that patient Tulsi. They did not get any time, even a second to think about it. And maybe they thought it is someone who is helping with the temple rituals also. And a few seconds later what happens is, the boy, he comes out again from the main sannidhi with some vibhuti in his hands. And he walked straight towards Tulsi also. He didn't ask who she was, nothing. He just took a small pinch of vibhuti in his hands and placed it in her arms, it seems, in her hand. He smiled and he said something. And the shloka was, Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhushcha saka tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Har Har Nama Parvati Pataye, Har Har Mahadeva. This is what he said, and he just goes away. He runs down. And this doctor was there. He said, I didn't know what was happening. Maybe I thought maybe that Tulsi knows that boy or something like that. I don't know. I looked. There was no boy who was there. The street was empty. Nothing, as if nothing had happened. And Tulsi was just standing there with the vibhuti in her hands. And at that time, for the first time, I noticed that her fingers started moving, it seems. A tear also fell from her eyes. She was emotionless for all these days, but still suddenly, one tear, two tears, and she burst into tears, it seemed. She called out to her father and she collapsed on the ground. And at that time, the doctor says that I realized that this is something very extraordinary. Her mother also later came and thanked me, saying that maybe after so many months and days, my daughter has opened her mouth for the first time. And that's when the doctor says that I did not do anything, right? Just that Shiva temple came in, some boy came and gave her some vibhuti. Looking at that, she could connect, and I don't know what it is at all. Was it really my training, my therapy that was there, or it was just the vibhuti that was given in her hand by that boy? I don't know. And that's when the doctor tells his daughter that, was it really Shiva who came out of this temple and brought Tulsi to her current state, brought her back to normalcy? I don't know. But slowly, steadily, later that Tulsi, the patient, she improved, she studied everything, and she herself became a doctor, it seems. And After telling all this story, the father tells his daughter that this is the reason why I'm telling you to attend this conference today, because the one who's giving this conference is that patient, Dr. Tulsi. So therefore the point is, after telling all this, the doctor himself says that science can maybe study the mind, it can understand trauma, so many treatments, is that therapies, everything it can give, but at times healing also, or coming out of things, begins in a place where all this treatment cannot reach. Therefore the doctor himself says that science can help me understand life, but faith that is there is something which is beyond understanding, right? This has got no answers at all. Therefore science can search for answers, but Bhagavan himself, in this case Shiva himself, becomes the answer. So therefore, like in science also, for the smallest atom we say God's own particle, right? So there are certain things which are beyond our control. Of course all this is our own belief and faith that is there, but I felt this story is very very interesting, which shows that at times there are answers which maybe not everything around us can provide, but that one divine energy, there is one supreme who is there beyond all of us, who can definitely bring this about. So ultimately what matters is only Shraddha and Bhakti towards Bhagavan.